morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Fall Sports Talk. I'm your host, Rick Plasmati, and today we'll be talking with the two Foxborough High School music program drum majors for the fall sport of marching band. With me on my right is Caitlin O'Brien. On my left is Jenny Greenleaf, both of whom are seniors, and both of whom have been in the music program for a good number of years, no doubt, and we'll get into those details. So first, let's start with you, Jenny. What can you tell me about how you became a drum major?
Well, I started off in 5th grade playing the clarinet, and I don't know, I didn't really like it in middle school, band or anything, but then when I got to high school, I found that it's a really nice program to get into, and then I practiced a lot, and I really wanted to be a professional sounding musician in my high school. So I worked really hard, and I wanted to be a good leader, and I helped the younger students when I got into my junior year and stuff like that.
Was that just something that came natural?
Well, of course, Mr. Massey helped a lot with it. I mean, we have section leader classes, so he taught me how to be a fairly good leader, and then I just worked my way up, and I would do everything I could get my hands on to help with the music program, and then he asked me if I would like to be the drum major. So,
are section leaders mainly juniors and seniors, or it could be anyone?
Well, usually it's sophomores there are a lesser number of sophomores, but sophomores can be too. Usually not freshmen because they're new to the program, and that's what the section leaders do. They welcome the freshmen. So,
Caitlin, was there a point in your high school career that you said, geez, I think I'd be interested in being a drum major?
Well, I never really set out to become a drum major, and it was never really a goal of mine. But I mean, like Jenny said, I worked hard, I practiced a lot, I tried to incorporate myself with the freshmen and with the other people, and it just kind of turned out that I liked helping people, I liked being in a leadership position, and I thought I did a pretty good job at it. And like Jenny said, Mr. Massey pretty much just came up to me and asked me if I wanted to do it based on what I had done up to that point.
And what time of year does he ask you? At the end of the school year?
At the very end of our junior year.
That's pretty cool.
Most of the seniors had already left.
Now, part of becoming a drum major is to go to UMass out in Amherst for drum major.
It's the Drum Major Academy. It's a week. It's like 4.5 days or something. You go and you stay in dorms at UMass, and you stay with a bunch of other kids who are in the same position. They're from different schools. I mean, some were from Massachusetts. Others were from like New Hampshire. There were some people from Texas.
Yeah,
so they come from all over the country. And you stay with them, and you stay there for a week, and you get to know them, you learn how to conduct, you learn how to be a better leader, and you pretty much just learn how to teach.
So how do you become a better leader through this week or 4.5 days of Drum Major Academy?
Well, what they did was we were each put into squads of like 4 or 5 kids, and he'd give each person a chance to teach the rest of the squad like certain marching fundamentals and stuff. And then the squad would let you know how they thought you did at teaching them. So if they thought that you did a really good job, they'd encourage you and be like, "Oh, you did a really good job on that."
So you are soon to be official drum majors. I guess you were at the time.
Yeah.
And you are teaching other drum majors.
And they're criticizing or encouraging on what you did and what you didn't do.
Yeah, I thought it was also really good because everyone was in the same position with what they were trying to do. So, I mean, if you saw somebody making some mistake, you thought maybe I was doing that too, and you could try to correct it that way.
Now, tell me about, were there exercises that went on throughout the day? Was it similar to the marching band week?
Kind of. We had like specific time, like allotments of different things. I think from like 9 to 11, maybe like 7 to 9. We had like marching classes in our squads.
7 to 9 in the morning?
It was pretty early. We had breakfast at 6.
Oh.
It was pretty intense.
At 7 we were out in the parking lot.
Maybe it was maybe 2 or 3
7:30.
hours.
So this is like
Maybe it wasn't that early, but it was pretty early. It was like a school day.
3rd or 4th week in July.
Yeah.
So you're out in the parking lot out at UMass.
It was hot. Yeah. And so we would march for 2 or 3 hours in the morning. And we would do what Jenny said about the squads. and we would teach other people how to lead a marching band and everything. Then we would have a break, and then we would go to conducting classes, and we would do that for a couple hours. Then there'd be like a night session.
But there's no instruments
Nope.
throughout the whole week.
They had
there's
a
no
band there,
instruments.
but none of the drum majors actually played. It was all conducting and all that.
So it's kind of you have a imaginary band that you're conducting? Or?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Well, everyone stood in an auditorium and just conducted to, like, normal pop tunes. Sometimes he would
Some
put,
Green Day.
Green Day and other.
And then we all got
Always room
videotaped
for
in like a
Green Day.
parking lot. Exactly. We all got
was
tapes
weird.
doing it, which was pretty embarrassing. So they would show you we looked like it wasn't pretty.
No doubt.
No.
Was the week that you were there, is it strictly instruction and drilling and training, or did they have like social events? Did you get to know the?
They had pretty long breaks. On the last day, there was actually a dance after our night class, where everyone who was at the camp got put in like a gymnasium, and we all
so it was like
danced.
into the
Pretty
gym.
much.
yeah.
And then they marched us out back to our dorms. So.
That's great. All marching all the time.
Yep.
All right, so then we come to the 4th week of August, I guess. Another terribly hot week. And I don't know, for people in the audience that haven't been up to the high school, there's that parking lot next to the ball field that is rectangular and lined out like a football field. And during the 4th week of August, the marching band stations themselves on that nice hot asphalt and has triple sessions throughout the day.
Absolutely.
Tell me what the members of the marching band, which is basically everyone in the music department, right?
Just the
Just the
band
band.
part.
The
The orchestra
band.
and the chorus have their own stuff.
Right.
So.
So what do they get before that Hell Week, if you will, and what are they expected to know on that Monday morning?
Well, at the end of the year, the high school students that are already in the high school get the music, and we play it a couple of times, and we work on it in sectionals just at the end of the year after the seniors have left. And the 8th graders, they get their music as well. Mr. Murphy hands out the music. Me and Caitlin went down to the Ahuron on a couple of last days of school, make sure everyone had everything all set.
Yeah.
Everyone got a CD of all the music, and they were expected to have worked on the music because the music needs to be memorized. If you notice out on the field, no one's looking at any music; they have it all memorized.
Which
so.
is always amazing to me because I can't walk and chew gum.
Yeah.
And you guys are out there marching and playing and spinning and.
So we encourage them to have worked on it, and there are section leaders that will call freshmen and say, hey, you want to get together and work on some music? And we encourage everyone to get together and look around. Me and Caitlin we went to the clarinet party because we're part of the clarinet family, and the main clarinet leader, Cassie Shaw, had a party at her house, and all the clarinets got together and they played the music, and they worked
That's
on
pretty
special
good.
things. And then by Monday morning, all the freshmen are at least a little bit knowing of the music, I guess. They know a little bit about it, so they're not as nervous.
Well, that's good. Now they also get, or do they get this ahead of time, the diagram of how to march, or not how to march, but
Of the drill.
where to go and all that?
No, we actually got it 3 days before the camp. So me and Jenny were looking at it pretty much for the first time, just as they were. So everyone starts on the same page when they go in on Monday morning for the night rehearsal, where we learn the show. Nobody has any idea what they're doing, so everybody learns it together. So hopefully they don't feel as lost then, because it's not like all the seniors know what they're doing and they're totally lost.
The thing that I found fascinating, I guess so it must have been when Sam was a freshman, was there's this little sheet. Is it for every? Are there multiple sheets of directions for each piece?
There's a huge packet that has the entire formation of everyone on the field,
Yeah.
and that shows you where, but each person has their own set of coordinates, and all the lines are mapped out. There's specific points, and you can figure out where you're supposed to go, and everyone has their own, so they know exactly where they're supposed to be, but I think it's more helpful that way, because...
Now I know that you two are expert marchers. Just from looking at you, it's almost, you know, like you could balance a book on your head, and you're marching just with your, you know, your legs like that. I just think it's a riot. I mean, I'm very impressed with that marching style. But this year I noticed that in addition to the uniforms, excuse me, you have added bandanas, hats, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
So how did that come about?
Well, if you take a look at our shirt, it's red.
Yes.
And,
Excuse me.
you know, usually, or in the past years, the shirts have been, you know, black and dark blue
Yeah.
and light
Boring.
blue. And when we were talking to Mr. Massey at the end of the year, we were talking about the shirts and what we were going to call the show, and we called it Taking It to the Streets. And we decided that red would be an out-of-control color for an out-of-control show, because it's not the normal Foxborough High School marching band show.
Right.
I mean, there's dancing and it's a loud swing music, and so we decided that red would be good. And then as soon as we were putting all the little things in the show, like
Yeah.
the dance that I do with the the
Jose.
bass drummer Jose, and we decided that to tie everything together into the Taking It to the Streets theme, me and Caitlin would wear red bandanas, like we were on the street, like we were taking it to the
Gang.
streets. You know, we're part of a gang. And then after that, I have that swing dance hat with the red around that, and that's to tie in the red. It's all got a red theme. We have shirts on the front of the Vibes and the Marimbas.
Like as a clothesline, like
Yep.
hanging out in the middle of the city.
Okay, right,
Yep.
And then at the during Sonoran, when I'm conducting, Caitlin places her red cowboy hat on my head because it's Sonoran Desert, so it's in the, you know. And it just ties it all together to make it more theatrical. It's a theatrical show.
And did the two of you sit with Mr. Massey to say, I think we'll do a jitterbug during, Hey Pachuco?
During Hey Pachuco.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mr. Massey suggested that since Caitlin was conducting, she would be dancing on the podium anyway, and that to make it more interesting, I should dance with someone from the band. And
Jose is always a likely choice for that.
well, he's the
very
biggest
theatrical.
kid.
He certainly commits
Sure
to what he
is.
does.
Yeah.
He's doing a
He's
really
already,
good job.
he's already a dancer. He dances like the mambo or something like that.
He can totally
so-
feel the music, and he's really convincing about it. He doesn't just like kind of.
Right? Oh, yeah.
And we were a little worried about someone who could pick me up and throw me over his shoulder like he does. So it's supposed to be funny because I'm supposed to walk out and I go like this, you know, and he's just like, oh, I'm not dancing. And we're like, no, come on. And he finally puts it down and he looks like a good dancer. And he's a bass drum. Who wants to dance with a bass drummer, you know? So
I've often
it's
said
funny. And well, I don't know if the audience gets it, but we get it, and hopefully the band parents get it.
Well,
I
it's
guess
clear
all
that
it means.
it's fun. And then by your having fun, everyone that's watching it has fun. Or filming it, as the case may be with the Cable 8 staff. The three pieces are Hey Pachico, which is what would you do the dance during, and then there's Taking It to the Streets by the Doobies. And what is the third one?
Sonoran Desert Holiday. It's actually an arrangement of a piece for wind ensemble. We played it a couple years back in some of the concerts, and it's just a shorter arrangement, arranged for marching band.
How complex is the marching and also these three pieces on a level of complexity compared to past years? How do you figure it reads?
This is a pretty hard show. The first two pieces aren't that bad, but Sonoran's very complex. Like if you see, there's someone standing in the middle, there are people like spinning around in like a pinwheel around them.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of practice. We spent the most time working on the marching in Sonoran. That's the hardest one, I would say. But other than that, the other two, there's a lot of dancing. There's a lot of more like taking to the street stuff, and it's not as complicated.
Yep. At the end, before you march off the field, everyone comes up to the stands. And I know that there was something similar to that last year. Is that something that seems like it's going to become a tradition?
Not sure. I think it depends on the theme of the show. When they did West Side Story, I don't think we were going to really bring anybody into the stands. But I think because it's the both of us and everyone's like rushing towards us, I think it helps to have both of us in there. I mean, I know it was just Molly last year, but I think that if we didn't do it this year, it wouldn't be as much of an impact.
That's great. Now, so far there have been two home football games at which you've played. How would you rank the performances?
You know, considering that our first game was the earliest the marching band has
Yes.
ever performed
Yeah.
in Foxborough High School marching band history, I thought that it went pretty well. I mean, there was obviously stuff we had to fix, but overall, I think it went, I mean, it was good. All the kids worked really hard, and they deserved to get the applause that we got. And they deserved to be in this good marching band. They made it the way it is, so.
Even if it wasn't perfect, the energy that everyone put forth into it really made it work no matter if there were mistakes or not, I thought.
You know, I think we're lucky to have a really good football team, but even if we weren't, they would, the marching band, whether it is out there marching or in the, you know, in the stands during the game, brings so much excitement anyway that it gets people fired up.
People complained that we didn't do the very first game. It was on the 7th, I think.
Yeah.
People were saying, oh, it was so boring without the marching band there, and it was so quiet because we didn't have anything to
You
run
guys
onto
have
the
a
field
great
to.
reputation.
Yeah.
You guys have a great reputation. You should be proud of it. Let's go forward into the school year. You're both seniors. I'll start with you this time. What do you look for during the senior year? Not just in marching band, but just as a student, a senior at Foxborough High.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of stressful because I have to think about college
Yeah.
and where I want to go and everything. But, I mean, right now I'm just trying to concentrate on schoolwork and doing a good job and keep up being a good drum major and practicing and doing everything with band that I have to. But,
Do you, at this point, do you guys know what music you'll be playing in concert band or orchestra and all that?
we actually got our folders for the concert band earlier this week. We actually made the CDs for the concert band, so we've known for about 2 weeks what we were going to do. But we actually started concert band today.
Oh,
And,
really?
Yeah. Yep.
Great. Anything like totally unusual?
Not really. It's all pretty standard. We've done some of the pieces before.
Oh, really?
I have, yeah.
It's all very complex. I asked this question last year, and I'll ask it again. From what I understand, music is ranked at levels 1 through 6, with 6 college level,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
and tell us at what levels different groups are generally playing. Do you know that? I mean, like, is the concert band generally playing like a 4 and a 5, or orchestra a 6, or excuse me?
Yeah, the wind ensemble is definitely the top band. The wind ensemble is
Okay.
definitely in the 5, 6 range. The wind ensemble really works hard to get our music as good as we hopefully get it. And the concert band, it can range anywhere from like a 3 to a 5, depending. And then the symphonic wind. The symphonic winds is the lower band
Right.
when we split into 2 bands. And they usually play 3 or 4, and it gives the younger kids a chance to
Yeah.
lead.
And then some kids from the, say, the wind ensemble might play in the, did I just mess them up?
Either
The
way.
symphonic winds, so there's,
Yep, we have alternates that play in both bands, so they can get both experiences.
tell us about what you look forward to in your senior year.
I look forward to just living it up, because if you think about it,
Write that down.
thanks. If you think about it, I mean, we're in a really good situation, and like, this is a really good school, and we have a really good music program, so you might as well take advantage of it. And Mr. Massey always says carpe diem, and you gotta seize the day. And I totally agree with that, because there's nothing that, if there's something I want to do, I want to do it, and I don't want to miss that opportunity.
What about next year? What are your plans after high school?
Not quite sure what college I want to go to, but I know I'm going to major in music education.
Really?
Yep.
That's good for you.
And hopefully it'll be
That's
a
kind of
good
a nice
decision.
tradition that seems to be coming out of Foxborough High. It's usually a small number of kids that are going into that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's good.
Thank
Put all
you.
the stuff you've done for the past 8 years to use. How about yourself?
I'm not sure yet. I don't know what college I want to go to either, but I either want to major in music education or clarinet performance. I don't really know yet. I have to decide, figure out what I want to do.
That always, I think last year during the Pops concert, when all the seniors are identified, when I'm afraid I don't know his name, and I apologize, but he was majoring in bassoon performance.
Microphone.
Microphone.
And that just was, I went like that, just so much. I would never think that you could major in an instrument's performance. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. What else are you involved in school?
That's pretty much it.
Music and studying.
I don't really do anything else. I don't really have enough time to do anything else.
I used to do the drama program.
What were you in?
Oh, I was in a bunch of them.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I could name them, but it'd take me like 5 minutes.
Well, we've got 5 minutes left to go, so go wild.
Well, I started off in my 8th grade year, I did Schoolhouse Rock Junior, and then 9th grade, there's 3 plays per year, basically. Junior year, I had to take it down because junior year is a hard year when you're taking AP classes and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I think I might do the musical this year too, once my drum major busyness has ended.
Did the last year, or was it? There was something changed in the drama, so that the school wasn't putting on the plays, and a drama club was.
Oh, well, they had summer plays that they did.
Uh-huh.
And we usually have, like, I don't know, we did Shakespeare one summer, and this summer we did comic plays, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't in the summer ones, but the school wouldn't.
It's like The Wizard of Oz was.
The Wizard of Oz was a musical that we put on. The school was involved in it,
Okay.
luckily. But when they started to do summer plays, they wouldn't let the kids use the auditorium just for uses like, I mean, no one was there to watch them, so. But
Okay.
I think it's okay now.
All right. Let's see. What can I ask you? What's the most interesting thing that's happened to you in high school? Music-wise.
Interesting? I mean, I don't know. I've been fortunate enough to play in the district band for 2 years. I made All-State 2 years in a row. So that's always pretty interesting.
Entail?
You have to audition.
Try out,
yeah, you have to try out. It's usually, I think you audition for a district at King Philip, so it's not that far away. And you compete against people in the area, and depending on how you do, you place into a band, and you get to go to the festival for 2 days or 2 or 3 days or whatever. And then if you do well in districts, you might get an all-state recommendation. You have to try out for all states. Then if you make all states, you get to go to a festival and stay in the Park Plaza in Boston.
So on that 2 days that you're playing, is it pretty much you're playing all day?
Mm-hmm.
Or
it's pretty intense.
big audience, or?
We rehearse for maybe like a full day, but then there's a concert, and the auditorium's usually pretty packed because everyone's parents go, and there are tons of kids. There's an orchestra, there's a chorus, there's a jazz band.
Now, the tryouts for this are coming up, yes?
Sometime
So
in
the
November.
tryouts are in
Yeah.
November, and then how long does if you were to make it to states, when would that be in the spring, or would that be in the winter?
Actually, I'm pretty sure the all-state audition is in the end of January.
Huh.
There's not that much time between the two.
About your adventures in high school, what's the highlight of your 4 years at high school, other than this interview? Because I know you were going to say that.
The highlight would be being a drum major, I guess.
Let's get to some of my other questions, see if I can find anything intriguing. Oh, okay. All right, so both of you play, obviously, in the marching band, and you both play clarinet, and you played,
I played the Barry sax in the jazz band.
Barry. And what type of music do you listen to on your own, if you're driving in the car or you're at home studying?
My favorite kind of music to listen to, I think, is vocal jazz.
Is that jazz?
Yep, vocal jazz. It's Ella Fitzgerald singing jazz, and I also listen to Ellington and the normal jazz. But I don't know. I'm a fan of vocal jazz. I've been in the jazz choir for 3 years, and I just love singing it.
Great. And you're new to the jazz
Yep,
choir.
this is my first year.
And what music do you listen to outside?
I actually listen to some vocal jazz, mainly the work CDs that we're doing, because I don't have like a big collection or anything. But I listen to a lot of classical too, because I kind of.
And you brought up Green Day earlier. Now, would that be more of the classical or the vocal jazz?
I don't really listen to Green Day.
Okay. What can you tell me that would surprise me about the music department, the music groups? I guess the music department would be the teachers. Not much, huh?
To surprise you.
I don't know.
I think, luckily, I think that most of the town knows pretty much everything about the music department, which is a good benefit because...
I mean, we have a lot of people come to our concerts, and they
Nice.
see us in parades.
Yeah.
Even if they don't want to, they kind of have to.
And the concerts are always on TV.
Yeah, that's really great. We appreciate that a lot, too.
Okay. I think that's going to wrap it up with the surprise, interesting components.
Okay.
So I want to thank you both very much, Jenny Greenleaf and Caitlin O'Brien. And for Fall Sports Talk, I'm Rick Plasmati. And my closing is never be sharp, never be flat, always be natural. Thank you, and good night.